How's it going, people? Welcome back to my channel. If you haven't already, go to my Instagram, Turkish LDN, and make sure you follow that. And my Twitter, Turkish LDN. Go and subscribe and follow there. I'm going to start using that a lot more come next season. So let's get straight into it, really. Kieran Tierney, slightly a rumour roundup, but in my opinion, it's probably the most solid rumour we've had all summer. Sky Sports have led it now in terms of headline news this Sunday. So a 15 million bid. I know a lot of people are laughing. I know a lot of people are saying it's typical Arsenal. But to be honest with you, let's not get bumped for players now at the same time. Like 15 million is a good opening offer when you look at it in the big scheme of things. Celtic, they're not a club that really play hardball over their players. Like I remember a couple of seasons ago, Dembele, they wanted about 35-40 mil for him, and in the end Leon got him for I think 20 mil or just under 20 mil. So you know, sometimes these reports are smoke screens, and if you look at it, Dembele was probably as important, if not more important to them at that time than Tierney is now. Tierney's a good young fullback. He's just turned 22 this month. He's shown a lot of potential, but at the same time, he's missed a lot of the last couple seasons with injuries. So his injury record is a cause for concern. And at Arsenal Football Club, like we've had a lot of injury problems over the last decade or so. So ideally, hopefully that improves if he does eventually come to us. If he doesn't, then I don't really care what's going on over there. But if he does eventually come to us, if we do improve our bid, and I think we don't really need to improve it by too much. If it was me, I'd do 15 mil on Callum Chambers and see what they say there. Because at the end of the day, I'd value Callum Chambers at around maybe 10 to 15 mil. Youngish English centre-back. He has shown potential for the smaller club. So I'm sure he'd be a success in Scotland and at Celtic, considering the league. The league they're in is probably the equivalent of the Championship over here. So why not offer them Chambers and the 15 mil? And with Chambers, they got a player with sell-on value. In a couple of years, if he establishes himself there, then there's potential to get 25 mil for him from an English club who are seeking homegrown talent to improve their squads. If not Chambers, Jenkinson, like we've got players there that we need to get rid of. Not that them two would have a big impact on wages and whatnot, but it is players we can offer, it is players we don't need. So why not add that to the 15 million and try and spend as low as possible? It doesn't seem like we're facing competition for his signature. So as long as that's the case, we're the front runners, obviously. As soon as another team comes in, we tend to fall back. But right now it looks like we're the only ones in for him. And like I said, at 22, good potential, injury problems here and there. I wouldn't be against it. At the same time, I didn't see it as a position that we needed to strengthen this season. Now, we do need to strengthen it. And in an ideal world, it would be a position we do strengthen this season, as well as 4 or 5 other positions. But we don't live in an ideal world, especially as an Arsenal fan. So I kind of prioritise centre-back, the wings, and centre-mid, a replacement for Ramsey this summer. Full-back positions, if Bellerin comes back strong, if he continues to make improvement under Emery, then that's great on that side. We need a backup. On the left-back side, Kolasinac a bit of the same. If he just improves on his defensive whereabouts, really, his stamina as well as his decision-making in the final third, then we've got another decent left wing-back / left-back with him. With Tierney, if he was to come in, and fingers crossed he stays injury free, then that does allow for the sale of Kolasinac. Now Kolasinac's wages, albeit he came on a free, he's on about 120k at Arsenal, 140k, I forgot what it was, but he was a free transfer. So with Tierney coming in around the 15 to 20 mil mark, we could potentially get 20 mil for Kolasinac, and Tierney's wages would probably amount to maybe half, if that, of Kolasinac's. So already there, you kind of, without touching the wage bill too much, without touching the transfer funds too much, you make an impact on the wage bill. You have an improvement there, and that's some of the things we're going to have to do over the next few seasons. Replace players in the starting 11 that are on too much money with younger, fresher, more ambitious, more determined players. That's what it's going to have to be. Yes, we're tight for money. I still say we ain't got 40 mil to spend. We've got more. Like we'll end up spending around 70 mil this summer. And if we don't, then it's, look at my last video. Kroenke is going to feel the pressure next season at the end of the day. And to be honest, even 70 mil, he's going to feel pressure regardless, because it's not going to be a good transfer window. If it was going to be a good transfer window, we would have known by now. All of the links, all of the agreed deals have seemed to simmer down and die down. And in the end, like I said, I believe this Tierney bid is the first official sign of a player movement at Arsenal Football Club in terms of the first team squad. So I'm all for it. Didn't think it's an area we need to improve on, but if we can get him in and move Kolasinac on and make an improvement down the wage structure and don't have no impact on the transfer funds, then that's great news. That's great news. And then we can still focus on the areas that I have prioritised whilst fixing or potentially fixing another problem area, which I would have done next season anyway. But with the Tierney link, I'm happy there. Also, other news, this is definitely more of a rumour that AC Milan have offered us 7 mil up front for Torreira on a 2-year loan with 34 mil at the end, an obligation to buy. So a total figure of 41 mil. Now we've spent, we're spending 28 mil on him altogether. We split it into 3-year payments. So that'd be a profit of 13 mil, but you know what? It's typical of Gazidis at the end of the day. Like that's the sort of shit we used to do when he was here. Silly bids like that. Who makes a bid of 7 million up front for a 2-year loan and then a 34? But we need money now, and you're talking about giving us 34 million in 2 years when that's probably going to be 34 mil in 2 years. Is probably it'll probably double by then the transfer market value of players. So really and truly, that has no that's a no-brainer for me. We don't do that. If someone wants Torreira, whether it's AC Milan or whoever it is, they need to offer at least 50 mil or above for him. I know he's come out and said he's unsettled or whatnot, and in my opinion, I wouldn't sell him. I really wouldn't, because he is someone that has actually come out with some credit from last season. But it's like I said, that's a tip. If it is true, it's typical of Gazidis, man. That guy's a rat. Like, he's a proper rat. And I'm glad he's out of the club. He was 2/3 of the problem when Gazidis, and we were left with Kroenke, which is the big issue. And you know what? People on my Twitter asked me today what I thought of the Raul and Vinai interview on Arsenal.com the week prior, or the couple of weeks prior to the Europa League final. In all honesty, I didn't watch it. Like, it's from Arsenal.com, and I know what to expect from videos from Arsenal.com. It's not going to be nothing to look into too much. They're going to say what you want to hear and do exactly the opposite behind closed doors. So I didn't watch it, but because people asked, you know what, I put it on just before this video. I was watching it, and halfway through again, I just closed it, because this is exactly what I expected from that interview. Because it's on Arsenal.com, and because they're employees of Arsenal.com, they are puppets of Kroenke right now. It was obvious and evident that they were just saying all the right things. Now, like, in terms of characters, I look at Vinai and I looked into his history a bit, and he's a money man. Came up in marketing, but essentially he's a money man. He's worked at the club before, commercial partnerships since 2010, moved around businesses, moved around roles, and then he's found himself here after being at the Deadlock Money, whatever that company is that deals with money. So he's got a very, very advanced financial background. Does that fill me with hope? No, because I'm fed up of hearing about how tight we are and whatnot. And people might say, yeah, he's coming to fix that issue and whatnot. Listen, he might have come in to fix the issue. I need to see it to believe it. But in my opinion, he might have come to add to the issue and just take money and be a puppet for the owner. Because he talks very well. Like, I've seen it in businesses that I've worked at. People that talk very well when they're in front of you, they can present very well. But really and truly, they're presenting you with a whole heap of shit. And that's how he came across in that interview. I'll be honest, he came across as someone not genuine, someone just out for himself and the people he needs to please. he doesn't seem like he cares about Arsenal Football Club. Yes, he's been here since 2010, but we've been a mess since 2008. So that again doesn't fill me with any fucking hope. Raul, on the other hand, Raul, you can kind of tell is a footballing man. You can tell he loves the sport, loves the game, has a great footballing background. Although he did come up in marketing, he quickly diverted into director of football at Barcelona. And he probably presided over one of their most, if not the most successful period they had over there at Barca. I think he was director of football from 2008 to last year when he came to us. If I'm not mistaken, that's their 7 trophy winning haul. That's their Guardiola era. That's all of that. So it is the most successful, one of the best footballing sides we've ever seen, if not the best. So that's all positive. And when he talks, you can tell he talks about football because he loves it. But at the same time, in that interview, he's also a puppet for Kroenke, because he's not. I don't expect them to come out and speak up against him. At the end of the day, he's their boss. But I'm asked about my feelings of this interview. I've watched it to offer my opinion, and Vinai, puppet, out for himself, out for who he needs to please. Whereas Raul, yes, he's a footballing man. Yes, I trust him with the things he's been put in charge of. But it needs the support financially. It needs the support around him. At the end of the day, you can't just have one footballing man there and expect it all to work. And what worries me, I look at Sven, who came in as well about end of 2017, beginning of last year. So he was with us about a year before it all fucking fell to shit, basically. But with him, he was similar to Raul, in my opinion, in terms of a great footballing background. They have a love for the sport. That comes before any sort of media training or PR that it seems like Vinai is all about. You can tell he's very media trained. You can tell he presents himself well, presents whatever ideas that Kroenke wants him to present to us lot, which has been bullshit for the past 10 years. So let's not think that just because someone else is there now, it's going to all of a sudden be... He was hired internally. And when you're hired internally at a club that's been a mess for the past 10 to 12 years, surely you have been part of the problem. But obviously, you give him a fair, clean slate. He's only been there a year, managing director. But with Raul, yeah, as I was saying, Sven, he left. I put him similar to Raul, love football, and he left. And in the end, where is he now? I think he's at Stuttgart. He left Arsenal Football Club to end up at, I think it's Stuttgart. Something doesn't add up there. Something doesn't add up. And in my opinion, I believe it's because he would find the talent, he would suggest names, and we would just ignore it and go for other names and the cheaper ones he suggests. I do believe his suggested names like Dembele at Barca, and well, that being one of the main ones, but I believe he suggested other bigger names in the past year, and potential names we could have got. Yeah, it's laughable now, but last year it was only 2 years out the Europa League. He was a new manager. It was a bit of a fresher feeling around the Emirates. This summer, it's a bit of the same old shit. So it's laughable now, but I just believe we wasn't aligned with what he had in mind for Arsenal Football Club and the vision. So that's what I'm worried about. That's what I'm worried about. I wouldn't pay too much mind to that interview. I wouldn't pay too much mind to anything that comes from Arsenal.com or Arsenal media on YouTube or anything like that. I'll be honest. I don't ever watch it. I don't ever go to the website. I go to the games. I have my opinion. I give my opinion when people want to hear it, and we keep it moving. But that is the reality at the end of the day. It was like a puppet show, that interview. And it was all... Some of the things said, like, it's coming to mind now, but they both said that, yeah, Kroenke's a sporting man and he knows a lot about soccer and he cares a lot. Yeah, right. But they're saying that. We haven't seen it. We haven't seen it at all. He's been here 10 years. So, like, puppets. Yeah, but that's my opinion on that, man. That's my opinion on that. It can't be a long one today because... There wasn't much to talk about until I got asked about this, to be honest. And Tierney obviously looks like a solid link, so I thought I'll give you that. Again, a bit of a negative video, but again, it's a bit of a negative summer. Again, it's going to be another negative season if this continues. So, right, Be prepared for it. Be prepared for it. But yeah, like I said, Instagram, Twitter, Turkish LDN. Make sure you go follow that. And love for all the support and all the feedback and all that. More content to come real soon. Real soon.